Worked out well for me. Okay.
Oh, here, yeah.
Okay. So Emma, relax. We want to make sure, okay, we are live now, but this is kind of a conversation we'd like to have with you this morning, talking about your talent and your time applying for the authority. And there will be 5 questions that we will ask. You have 3 minutes per question to respond. Stephanie Kelly is your favorite friend. She will warn you with 30 seconds remaining, okay?
All right.
Let me introduce some of our colleagues who have joined us virtually. We have Council Member Renee Johnson. Good morning, Renee. We have Mayor Pro Tem in District 1, Dante Anderson. Mayor Pro Tem, good morning. And Emma here, we have the work group. We're the work group committee. So to my left, the one and only Ed Driggs out of District 7. And the, how should I say this? The grassroots activist and my colleague, LaWanna Mayfield at large. LaWanna will start us off with the first 2 questions. Councilor Mayfield?
Thank you. Good morning, Emma. I do want to take a moment to apologize as we were going to be, and for those that are tuning in, as we were intending to start at 9:30. We had a little bit of technical difficulty, and we did not want to start until we had the cameras up, so we're starting at 9:37. Again, I will have 2 questions for you, but the clock does not start until you start speaking. For your first question, how do you feel this new board can balance regional decision-making with the need for accountability to the taxpayers?
That's a great question, and thank you for it. The fact is, this thing just has to succeed. We know that, right? And I believe it starts with putting a governance umbrella over how we intend to do business. And so we have to be really thoughtful about what that governance document looks like. And the way we do that is conversation among the committee itself, but also our important stakeholders. We know it's no secret that 80,000 people, had some concerns about it. And so as we build this new document, this new work procedure, we really ought to make sure that we are making sure that our stakeholders on both sides of the aisle are involved. It also is going to involve us building a regional alliance. And so we know that other towns and opportunities are also going to be a part of this process. They're going to be advocating for what makes sense for their constituencies. And so battling those competing priorities will be important. And having that document up front with lots of participation, I think gives us a good roadmap to move forward.
Thank you. I do not write that fast.
You're not by yourself, so.
Thank you so much for that response. My second question for you. Can you share your thoughts on small business and minority participation?
Well, yeah, being one of them myself, I actually have lots of thoughts about it. But in addition to that, I don't know if you're aware, but I ran the MWB committee in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. And so as chair of that organization, and frankly the first woman black chair of the organization, surprisingly enough, we found that there were lots and lots of gaps around why we weren't getting more participation. The things that we heard quite often from contractors and developers was, we don't know where these people are. We can't find them. That's the story that we advance forward in a way to make ourselves feel better. And so I said, I know where they are. I happen to be one of them. And so what we did was we looked at Winston-Salem's database of MWBE participants, the people that we had the opportunity to do business with. It was very, very weak. And so, what we did was go to Greensboro. Let's partner with them. Let's get a copy of their list. Let's see if Charlotte will give us a copy of their list. Let's see if people around the country will share their list with us. Amazingly enough, people were really happy to do that. And so we increased that MWBE pool by 10-fold. And so that's really the piece of it, making sure that we've got an opportunity to go and find people no matter where they are who fit that criteria. But the other piece is, are they ready to do the job? And so what we found in working with developers and contractors is, what do you find missing when you deal with NWBE folks? Well, they don't have the funding. They're not able to get bonded. They don't have the skill set. They don't have the capacity. And so we asked those people, what are you able to do? Not just the city of Winston-Salem, but because, you know, you want this work, and we've got some criteria about kind of what you need to bring to the table in terms of MWBE, what are you willing to do? They provided funding. They provided support. They provided training. Well, all of a sudden, now we're working together to make this thing happen and to make sure that, you know, it's a full load of prosperity. Everybody gets to share.
Thank you.
Emma, so the next two questions will come from Mr. Ed Driggs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you see as the top 3 priorities for the MPTA in its first year?
You know, I think that one of the things that we have to do early on is build cohesiveness among the board. We will be coming from lots of different directions. People who know each other well, people who don't know each other well, people who were adamantly for the tax, people who oppose the tax. And so what we have to do is spend time together, getting to know each other and having an understanding and building trust among the board. I was in the Friday Fellows, a Wild Acres group. I don't know if you guys have heard about that at all. I went to that group kicking and screaming at the request of Hugh McCall. I didn't want to do it. I was busy doing my work. When I got there, I found myself in an awkward place. There really weren't people who were like me. I was, you know, a real minority in that group. And so finding a way to bridge the gap with people who thought very differently than me, frankly. I went into that, you know, as an executive at the bank thinking that I knew it all and that my way was the right way. What I discovered from listening to other people was you learn things when you open yourself up. And, you know, at the end of the day, we're all on the same human mission together, hoping that our communities, that we can make our communities better and in the process making us better. And so I think that's job one for the group, for us to build cohesiveness. Secondly, we've got to get this community engaged, making sure that people understand that we are here to help, that we're on the same mission for Charlotte. And that's going to involve lots and lots of community engagement, being out where the people are, getting into these churches, making sure that the churches are delivering the message. And then number 3, building a plan that we believe we can advance forward with the endorsement of the stakeholders.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm going to finish writing. Give me a sec.
Right.
I'm glad I don't have to take shorthand.
Right.
My second question, how would you engage community members, particularly those historically underrepresented or impacted by transit inequities, to ensure their voices shape MPTA policies and projects?
You know, that's a good one for me because I've been in the community for over 30 years, 40 as a matter of fact, as well as a small business owner for over 20. One of the things that I did early on at the bank was manage a group of 33 African-American pastors. That ought to give me a badge of honor, just quite honestly. But they're a great network to get to our people. I think one of the things that we have to do really, really well is meet people where they are. Being on planning and zoning, you know, I would hear oftentimes, well, the community didn't show up. We put these zoning signs up, we sent them postcards, and what we discovered was people didn't know what the zoning signs meant. They just thought it was a big Z in their neighborhood, and so that's why they weren't there. I think one of the things that we can do a lot better is meeting people where they are. That's something I'm very, very good at based on my network. I think because of the work that I've done in Charlotte for over 30 years, people recognize me as a person of integrity. They believe what I say and they know that I'm gonna shoot them straight. And so that's one of the things that I bring to the table just in terms of being able to galvanize the community.
Thank you.
Okay. So Emma, I have the last question. It's kind of a 2-part, so if you need me to repeat it, I will.
All right.
Okay? This authority is a historic moment in our region. What unique skills and experience do you have that would advance the efforts in public transportation?
That's a great question, and I think I've answered a little bit of that. One of the things that I haven't mentioned so far is I'm Six Sigma trained. So my brain works from a project management perspective, and that's one of the things that we're going to have to have. This thing is going to be so massive that we're going to have people who are used to managing large projects. One of the things that I built for the bank was in-store banking. I don't know if you remember the banking centers that were in the Harris Teeters and the Krogers. I built that for the bank. And when I tell you, dealing with the contractors, with the employees, with the bank, and all these people who wanted all different things, it really took a lot of effort. This is going to be similar to that. So it won't be just board work. It'll be board work. It'll be stakeholder work. It'll be community work. We're going to have to all do that together to make this thing work.
I'm getting a cramp here.
It was forward
I got
statement.
more, but I thought I'd give you that
Oh,
one.
in community work, got it, okay. I knew it was one other community work. Emma, thank you for joining us on
Thank you.
early Saturday morning. Let me give you a recap, kind of next steps for us. We would do, the work group would do our recommendations today. We will forward those on to council. On Monday, November 17th, we will make nominations. It is our goal by November 24th, this council will have its 7 appointees to the authority. So stay tuned and watch us on Monday night.
Okay, great. I'm going to go enjoy the marathoners out
Okay,
there.
well, we're going to come and greet you and let you get on with your Saturday.
I'm just going to be watching, though. I won't be running.
See, I would have assumed it was actually going to be the other way. And, you know, this is when I looked in the mirror, I was like, this is the Ed Driggs suit. No, I don't have the Princeton tie. Yes, I have it somewhere. Yeah, cool.
And we got
So-
3 minutes.
So Rob, thank you, and that is your water, sir, so
be,
take your time. How was traffic? Not bad?
No traffic this hour.
Okay.
Oh, you missed the runners?
Well-
Are you getting caught up in that? You did?
Oh.
Again, other cities, the runners would have been a problem.
Okay.
Charlotte.
No problem.
There were, you know, I got stopped, I guess that was, what is that, McDowell?
McDowell Street.
Yeah, they were running on
Yeah,
McDowell.
that's where, it took me about 10 or 15 minutes to do the last quarter of a mile. just
Yeah.
coming through.
Yeah, but I guess you might have had a cluster of runners or something that went by, because when I was by, it was like, it was kind of like,
So Rob, thank you, sir, on a Saturday, spending time with us. We'd like to try to make this a conversation much as possible. I'm going to ask you 5 questions. You have 3 minutes apiece to respond. Ms. Stephanie Kelly is your best friend in the room. She will remind you 30 seconds remain in each question. And then, please, some of the questions, if you need for us to repeat them, we would do so, because some of them are 2 and 3
3 parts.
3 parts, right?
It was a subsidiary.
And so, with that said, let me introduce some people that are here. Virtually, we have Mayor Pro Tem Dante Anderson join us from District 1. And then in the room, you have, to my left, Mr. Ed Driggs from District 7. To my right, Councilman LaWanda Mayfield, representing at large. So I'm going to let Ms. Mayfield start us off with your first 2 questions.
Okay.
Good
Thank you.
morning. Thank you
Thank-
so much for joining us and for offering yourself up. Again, it was mentioned that Clerk Kelly will give you the little warning. I'm giving it a little bit because we started exactly 10:30. It's 10:29 because we want to be consistent with everyone as far as those that might be tuning in to watch this. So we have about a minute, but Ms. Kelly, so that you don't have to stress it, 3 minutes is actually a long time, so take a breath, respond to the question, but you don't have to worry about watching it on your phone because she will hold up her little 30-second card for you to let you know if you're getting close. This is the longest minute in the world.
Yeah, well, that and, you know, the 3 minutes.
Right, when you're
That's the question.
Okay, so with that, I will kick off the first question. How do you feel this new board can balance regional decision-making with the need for accountability to the taxpayers? And I will repeat if you need.
Thank you very much. Yes, could you repeat that?
Yes. How do you feel this new board can balance regional decision-making with the need for accountability to the taxpayers?
Gotcha. Well, first and foremost, I want to thank you all for coming out here on a Saturday morning. Again, for those who don't know, my name is Robert Hillman. I'm the CEO of Queen City Robotics Alliance. We run a competitive robotics facility in Steel Creek. In terms of managing the balance between regional and the taxpayer responsibility, I guess the way I think about this is that at the end of the day, when we set up this facility, we're responsible for solving the problem. The problem in Charlotte, as I see it, is twofold. So we want people who are intimately engaged, involving in problem solving, as well as economic development and economic mobility, right? And so in terms of balancing, balancing the cart, right, we've got to make sure that we keep, in my opinion, from my perspective, keep those 3 things in mind. The taxpayers,
Robert, say again what the 3 things are.
it's problem solving, the ability to problem solve, the mutual desire to have economic development as well as economic mobility, right? We need to be able to make sure that the folks that are paying into the system, that's 1 cent sales tax, which is going to be meaningful for them if they're lower income, gets them what they need in terms of the ability to lift themselves up and move around to get jobs. Transportation at its core, in my opinion, is really about jobs and job development, and workforce development. We really need people to be able to get from their houses into good-paying jobs. And, by way of a story, how I got to this space was, as you know, I ran for office at one point. One of my campaign workers lived in University and needed to get to South Park to do her shift. She was 2 hours late on her shift, right, because the buses didn't run. So this issue is an issue for both employees and employers. And from that perspective, what that did for me was that got me involved in transit in Charlotte. Did I answer your question?
I'm going to capture what you shared. Thank you very much. Second question. Can you share your thoughts on small business and minority participation?
Perfect. No, yes, I can. I have several. And I appreciate the source of that question. I currently serve on the Business Advisory Committee for the City of Charlotte, which reports into the Joint Jobs and Economic Development Committee. What's extraordinarily important is that when we have large, and we've got what's called, I would say, the missing middle, like the large percentage of the people that are employed in Charlotte, North Carolina, or in any city across America really work for small companies. They don't work for Ernst & Young, they don't work for Bank of America, they work for Joe's Crab Shack, right? And so what we really want to do is make sure that small businesses are thriving, and we want to utilize the authority to, where possible, as a way to incentivize small business development, small business participation. Because if we can get that, right, we grow the region. And one of the things that is extraordinarily important is if you draw around this success, we get 150 new people here every day. What you want to do is draw a circle around Charlotte, North Carolina. And what you want to say is everybody in that circle on any given day has the right to move upward. And whether they own a small business, whether they're going to go work for a small business, or whether they're a large corporation who needs to have smaller businesses around to supply them.
Thank you.
Rob, the next two questions will come from Mr. Ed Riggs.
These are the tough ones.
Should have worn my tie today, sorry. My first question, what do you see as the top 3 priorities for the MPTA in its first year?
Good question. So we're basically setting up this organization de novo, right? And so what you got to do first is do a lot of things, do a lot of nuts and bolts, transfers of staff. You got to do a lot of governance, laying out governance, like how will this body work? You have to do things like, again, setting salaries for, and hiring, say, like, I don't know if you call it the executive director, but effectively the CEO of the authority. Mm-hmm. And you're going to spend a bunch of time the first year doing that. Some of the things that, nuts and bolts that need to also be conveyed is getting, some of the things that actually the easier hits for people, getting buses to run more rapidly on certain routes, on high traffic routes, putting in the infrastructure for, or doing the groundwork for microtransit. So we've got a pilot up in Davidson. Davidson is not like the West Side, is not like South Park, is not like the East Side. And so some of the studying and researching around those things need to be done so that when we launch those initiatives in those regions, they have the highest possibility of success. Because what we don't want to do is assume one size fits all and then roll it out, have it not work, and then be disappointed. Is there more to that question?
That was fine, thank you. Just catching up.
I'm sure there's some statutory things that need to be done as well.
One of these things we
If you
can
look
talk
in,
about.
if you look in the, when you
for
look
an
in the
hour,
legislation,
right,
there's some
Yeah.
actual milestones that need to be accomplished.
My other question, how would you engage community members, particularly those historically underrepresented or impacted by transit inequities, to ensure their voices shape MPTA policies and projects?
I think that's a great question. I think, had the privilege of serving on that's what CTAG, before it was the Citizens Transit Advisory Group, and PTAC, which is the Public Transit equivalent. Advisory Committee.
Yeah.
And that has been for me, has been a way of introducing my thoughts and around two things. One is small business development and minority inclusion, which again, not a great word with current administration, but certainly something that we still need to be mindful of, that there are people in our city who need to be included. Right. And then the other component was about displacement, anti-displacement. We're tremendously concerned about and displacement's happening all over the city, so that you know. With the rise in property values, everybody's at risk of being pushed out of their current abode, right? And that's not the right thing. You know, the people who live here deserve the right to stay here and to be engaged here and to benefit from the growth and development. And so I've been able to raise those issues to answer the question. I've been able to raise those issues on PTAC, and staff actually has responded and given me some information on programs. For instance, on the Blue Line extension, they gave me an 80-page document that showed me all of the small companies or small businesses have been included. And then there was also an anti-displacement memo that was, I submitted for the record. It wasn't my memo, but I had submitted for the record, and they came back with a response to that. I think it went to Mark Jarrell, I think, in first instance, but I think City Council also saw that memo.
So are you currently a member of PTAC?
Currently, yes.
Yeah.
Currently,
Okay.
so.
Thank you very much.
It's been an enjoyable experience. Particularly the staff, there have been a couple of questions that have come up that I've been able to get, fairly quick answers. So very appreciative to staff's responsiveness. Again, with that, the information that was provided, I'm also interested in going and getting a deeper dive, because it was basically a broke-out DBE, disadvantaged business enterprises and primes, showed that it was about 100 million out of 600 million that went to DBE. What I want to see, the follow-on question is, what was DBE? Who are those questions? Who are those companies?
All right.
Okay, me? Okay, so Rob, I have the last one for you, sir. And it's kind of a two question in one, so if I need to bring them up, let me know, okay? This authority is a historic moment in our region. What unique skills and experience do you have that would advance the efforts in public transportation?
Gotcha. So I can come at this a number of different ways. From one perspective, over the course of my career, I've been an engineer, I've been a banker, and now I'm a leader in a not-for-profit organization. And all three of those instances, one component of it was engineering. I was an engineer for 7 years, I was a banker for 20-plus years, and I'm now a not-for-profit leader. And in each of those spaces, so I was an actual engineer, electrical engineer from MIT. In the banking, I was a financial engineer, and then now I'm a leader of really an engineering not-for-profit. And all throughout, what's consistent throughout all of that is my ability to solve problems. At some point in my life, somebody got this into my head that if you could, as a matter of fact, it was Hugh McCall, actually, when I came to Charlotte, because he was trying to get the associates to change to make a change in their aspirations within Bank of America. And his bottom line was like, you need to get to some place you can solve problems. And if you can solve problems, you'll never have a day without work, or you'll always have a business. And so that, from my perspective, is what's unique about me and different about me is my exposure to the problem-solving process, the design thinking process, the ability to look at constraints, right, and say, okay, we got to build this with this much money by this time period, the ability to project plan. The other thing I've been exposed from the banking perspective is in raising capital. So as a banker, I worked in the capital markets group at Bank of America. We were responsible for raising funding, getting that debt rated by the rating agencies. So I've had experience working with the rating agencies. I understand their process and what that means as it relates to the maintenance of a AAA rating, which you want to make sure to keep your borrowing costs low, you want to make sure that you do not do anything to damage that. So my experience and exposure there is also helpful. With regard to my current endeavor, that is, I guess that's my give back. Some people, I will say, and I say this, is like, having been an engineer, having worked on Wall Street, I now have this need to, how do I want to say, recover my soul. Right. And so working with the kids, K through 12, to help design, build, and test robots is a way of giving back that ropes in, and what I seek to do is rope in as much of the community as possible in that endeavor. But it allows me to stay in touch and in tune. And I think my being in touch and in tune is one of the reasons that has garnered me an endorsement by Action NC for this position. However that slide fits in, what that means for me, and I'm humbled by it, is that people have recognized some of the things that I've done in the community. And that is going to be, I think, extraordinarily relevant in the rollout of this authority.
Okay.
Ended on a dime.
You good, you good. Rob, I want to thank you coming and sharing your skills and your talent with us on a Saturday. I appreciate it. And so let me give you a quick recap, the next steps. We're going to start our process of making a recommendation to the full council. And then on Monday, November 17th, we will start having voting and nomination, and it will be our goal on November 24th. We will have all 7 of our appointees approved and ready to serve on the authority. So stay tuned. Watch us Monday night or attend the council meeting Monday night. That will be the first step. So we're going to come around, shake your hand, and appreciate you, man.
Well, I thank you all for you being here on a Saturday. It's extraordinarily important. You guys have been here all week. I walk past you.
Thank you very much.
Well, we ain't really started yet. We got 5 minutes.
I would say this, man, did we put our order in for lunch?
No, because I thought when she came in this morning and asked you, you said.
Oh,
wasn't gonna be
okay,
here that long.
got it, okay. That's what I was thinking too.
We'll be done by 12. You don't need a free lunch.
Yeah.
Now, y'all know with James, he wants some food. James like, y'all ain't gonna have me up here and not feed me.
Y'all know I work for
James
food.
like, no.
The most dangerous place in Charlotte is between Smudgy and Buffet Line.
So we will be done, I think we'll be done early.
Okay, you got that 6 minutes. I'm sorry, Margie, but y'all know I love to eat, so.
Listen,
I
I
told
know.
Caroline yesterday, I said, I don't know how he does it. This is bottomless pit. But he's not overweight. You know, where does it all go?
I have been saying that for years.
Yeah, but my metabolism is so high. Anyway, so Miss Molina, thank you for joining us this Saturday. As you know, this feels a little different because you have worked with us, so you need no introduction of who we are. But I would like to share with you, we're going to ask you 5 questions.
Okay,
You have 3 minutes per question.
Okay.
And Miss Stephanie Kelly going to give you the warning sign with 30 seconds left.
Okay.
Okay? And then we're gonna wait and start exactly at 11 o'clock because we don't want any of your supporters to be upset.
Okay.
You started the questions too early, so.
Okay,
We
okay.
publicized 11, we were gonna start at 11, okay?
Thank you.
Still want to acknowledge.
Oh, yes, so we do have, I'm trying to look at the council members that are virtual. We have Mayor Pro Tem in District 1, Dante Anderson joining us. So Dante, thank you.
So did you see any Border Patrol people on your way here?
I didn't. Actually, I was stopped by the traffic for the marathon.
For the
Same
marathon.
here.
Yeah.
I almost
So-
missed the first interview. Right.
Yeah, yeah. So I accounted for that. I knew I was going to need some time because of the marathon. So I, made sure that I was strategic about
Right.
allowing time for that to get here. And it's Saturday, so it's easier to do that. Yeah,
Caroline said this morning, I don't think you have to be worried about being detained by the Border Patrol.
yeah.
Old white guy in a Mercedes. Probably not.
Nah, you got that.
Hey, this chair just collapsed too. What's,
I think Ed,
I'm the skinniest guy here.
I don't know, you and these
I think
chairs.
it's more
Ed.
solid than what you realize.
That's
You're
right.
Probably
Some
more
sort of-
dense.
This is a practical joke. Somebody has sabotaged my chair.
Oh, my Lord.
So we have about 2 more minutes.
Well, this, day number 4, right?
Yeah.
We got through it. We
Yeah.
got through it.
I don't know if I could speak, but I want to tell you personally, thank you for taking this on.
Yeah, no.
This has been, the 3 of you being consistently here, taking this on.
It's been,
Thank you.
So much fun.
Yeah, yeah.
and
It's,
we have had fun. I mean, to Councilman Mayfield, we were just talking about it. This is the way it used to be before COVID and everything
Yeah.
else. It just
Yeah.
kept us in silos. And but this is the way it used to be. You laugh,
was.
you debate, you respect one another, and you just move on, right?
yeah.
So.
You offend each other good-naturedly?
Yeah,
Right.
good naturally, right? You know.
Yeah.
And we kept it moving. That's why I say I think the hardest part is those that came in 2019 and had to go through the impact of COVID,
Yeah.
never really got to build what we built, working
we-
together,
what we knew
being
from
on
the
the
past,
floor
yeah.
multiple days, building relationship,
Yeah,
and
we
being
were
able
just-
to rib each
yeah.
other and
We just stick
keep it
stuff out
moving.
of the hallway and we just
Yeah.
talk.
I've been before the 3 of you for something else in 2016. I don't know if you remember that. But it was a time when there was an appointment process for the district that I
Oh, District
currently
5.
represent.
All right.
Okay, it is 11
Go.
o'clock.
Okay.
So thank you again, Ms. Molina, for joining us and for offering yourself up. As Councilmember Mitchell mentioned, we will be asking you questions. You have up to 3 minutes to respond. Our clerk, Ms. Kelly, will give you a 30-second. First question, how do you feel this new board can balance regional decision-making with the need for accountability to the taxpayers?
Well, first, I'll start by thanking you all, honorable members of the council, for giving your Saturday morning to this process throughout. I know that it's been a challenge, but thank you all for doing this. I'll start by saying that this is it's a monumental opportunity for our region. And from a regional perspective, this is the baseline for what will become the next 30 years. So it's very important to have, our best and brightest members on the ground floor, because this is policy setting, this is deliverables. These are the humans that will be a part of the process to appoint the executives that will run this board, this regional board. And so it's very important to have the acumen and the knowledge and the people who are ready to go right now in this room. And that's why I offered myself, understanding the weight of where we are and what we've worked for since 1998, and now being at this specific place where, again, no taxation without representation, realigning what was the MTC that was chosen for us, and now this council will set what that means going forward for the city of Charlotte specifically. So the way that happens is building relationships. I've always said to you all in the public that this is a team sport. No one human does anything alone. And so it's making sure that you understand the strengths and weaknesses of the people at the table. And there will be many. There will be things that I bring, and I intend on depending, if appointed, on the strengths of others and filling in the gaps for the weaknesses of those that may not have what I own as far as my particular strengths. I love Charlotte. Charlotte is my home. And so my primary interest is the interest of the city of Charlotte and this council. The majority of what will be done on this board has been executed by the leadership team within the city of Charlotte. And there are a wealth of plans that have already been adopted by this council and other councils that will need to be executed in alignment with what the policies are for the board once it's placed. And so it'll be very important to have that relationship with the council so that what is decided works in tandem with what the board is working on as well. The roads money, the strategic, opportunities around the CAP and planning and economic development and workforce development. We have plans for all of that within the city of Charlotte, and they'll need to work concurrently with the work of the board, and I'm adept and ready to go with that right now because I do the work.
Thank you. Give my colleagues a moment to finish capturing.
Okay. Thank you.
Second question, can you share your thoughts on small business and minority participation?
Absolutely. As a small business owner myself, we started a brick and mortar business in 2006 in the city of Charlotte, and that expanded to 2. And the way that the way I ended up on the east side was we lived in South Charlotte when I first moved, and we needed to make our bottom line, so we moved to East Charlotte. It was a lot, it was more conducive for what we intended as a family and affordability, and a lot of small businesses struggle with scale, especially minority businesses. And those opportunities aren't readily available. So having owned a small business, I understand what that is because I've lived through it. I've fed my family with that mantra in mind. But on a day-to-day basis, I'm a senior executive at an architecture and engineering firm. So I build teams, and we build teams. Councilmember Mitchell he does the same line of work, so he'll understand this specifically. We build teams based on a number of different things. For architecture and engineering, that's very different than what construction would do, but we still have some of the same constraints. We intend to offer opportunities to small businesses because in many cases there's a requirement for that, for the specific opportunity that we're chasing. And sometimes people say that you can't find it for many reasons. I don't believe that to be true. I've never believed that to be true. I actually, it's personal. I believe that in many cases, some of those who endeavor don't know or aren't connected to the right people to align themselves. And so I think we have to be intentional about making sure that we provide information, we use our resources to connect to small business owners so that they can make themselves available at these tables to be prepared for these opportunities when they present themselves. And understanding that it's specifically around this 1 cent sales tax, and for the next 30 years, this is a specific opportunity, a guaranteed opportunity for the next 30 years with a number of different, types of small businesses and organizations to be intentional from the ground floor. We can set that intention right now with the right people at the table, and it's both personal and professional for me to make sure that we do that.
Thank you.
Margie, the next two questions will come from Mr. Ed Driggs.
Good morning.
Good morning.
What do you see as the top 3 priorities for the MPTA in its first year?
So that's a very interesting question. I've started quite a few things from the ground floor, and the most important thing is the mission. What are you intending? I think the mission around, and with this being the largest board in the United States of America, I don't see that being an easy task right off, but I think it's important to establish the mission and the intention, a baseline for what that means, and creating some milestones. So quantitative information, project management skills, which I'm trained in. I'm actually trained in project management, business analysis, and data analytics, in addition to having a master's degree in business from UNC Charlotte. Go Niners. And so I think the mission is important. I think more than anything else, because of the passing of this and the condition of the passing, accountability is absolutely the challenge that we must meet. Accountability, a measure of accountability, possibly a dashboard, something to demonstrate to the public that we intend to be transparent and let them know what we intend to do, understanding that that will change over 30 years. This is a 30-year process, and I have to get this in because I continue to get this in. And being a person who has the foresight to see that this is 30 years and will be malleable, 1995 until now, we had pagers and payphones in 1995. So this will be a malleable plan. What we see now it will change with future councils, and so a dashboard. I think that needs to be immediate. I think the third thing will be community engagement. I think we have to be specific around bringing people into the table. One of the areas of opportunity that I noticed right away, even when we endeavored to present this to the public, was that we didn't have enough time to educate. And so there are too many of our community members that really don't understand, and this is a large amount of information for them to understand, but the dissemination of that to some level of where the community can understand what's at stake, understand all of the many opportunities that there are for them to get engaged around, like I said, workforce development, the strategic energy action plan, the strategic mobility plan, the strategic investment areas, the better bus. I mean, these are, buses don't displace. They actually bring communities together, and the better bus system is where we'll start first as far as implementation is concerned. The rail will be much longer, and so just getting our community up to speed as best as we can should be the next deliverable.
Thank you.
How would you engage community members, particularly those historically underrepresented or impacted by transit inequities, to ensure their voices shape MPTA policies and projects?
That's also a very important question. Our bus system right now, we're a consumer-based economy. We run off of consumerism, and all of us know that. Our dollars are our power. And our bus system is driven by African American and people of color, the consumerism of that particular demographic. 71% of bus riders are African Americans. If you combine the other minority groups, you have, over 10% additional that are, ethnic populations of other, races and cultures. And so the majority of the people who are served by what we will intend are people of color. And so the riders are, our clients so to speak. They're who we're working for. I think making sure that safety is at the center. I think making sure that accountability is at the center. I think making sure that education is at the center. I love the opportunity to, one of the greatest stories of my own life has been access to opportunity. I didn't grow up with means, and my life changed once I got to Charlotte. Charlotte is my success story, and one day I hope to share that. I think I've lived through personally every experience that many of the people that we serve have, but I don't talk about that or make that my mantra. And so, like I said, those human beings are already the people that will serve with this endeavor. And so being specific to those needs will be what we have to do.
Thank you.
Margie, before I give you the last question, Ms. Dimple Ashmere, City Council at Large, has joined us. So welcome, Dimple. So Margie, here's the last question, and it's kind of two-part. So
Okay.
slow me down, and I'll have no problem repeating it,
All
okay?
right.
This authority is a historic moment in our region. What unique skills and experience do you have that will advance the efforts in public transportation?
So aside from, I currently serve as the Vice Chair of Transportation Planning and Development with Mr. Ed Driggs, doing the work, listening to the conversations, having local and, statewide emphasis on what we will perform eventually. I own current relationships that we're going to need. Again, this is a team sport, 27 human beings in a room, all with different charges. And I'm adept at the information right now, which is, again, why I offered myself up. That continuum of knowledge base, I'm ready to start right now. I don't need to be taught what our plans are. I understand them today. And I'm ready to go. I will work with this council because, again, inextricably, there are a number of different plans to be executed within the city of Charlotte, and specifically the $5.7 billion in roads money that you all will manage that will work concurrently with that of what the region would endeavor. I think it's very important for the goals of this city to have a human being that understands that from day one. But let me be personal, because why would I do that? Like, I can walk away and go home and, do all these things, but my why is very important to mention. I grew up in a foster home. I was taken away from my mother as a very young person. My father died when I was 6 years old. And as I said, I have lived through personally what many of the people that we serve have lived through. I'm a single mother right now, and I have been the whole time that I've been elected to office. And for the last 2 weeks that we intend to work together, many people don't even know this because, again, it's not my mantra. It's not how I lead, it's why. And the intention to take people along, to have them see out loud that they can be successful. You will work hard, and things may or may not be fair. But if you commit to hard work and you have humans that understand and stand in the gap, you have a chance. And most people, when they're ready, if given the opportunity, they can excel. They just have to have those two things converge at once. And so having seen the world through many different lenses and many different experiences, making decisions on behalf of others and bringing them along is my why. And I will do that for the rest of my life, whether I do that in the capacity of this board, which I hope to do, but I will do that and pay my rent on earth for as long as I live.
Thank you.
Thank you, Marjorie. This kind of concludes it. So thank you for giving up your Saturday.
Absolutely.
Let me just give you a quick recap. The work group, we will make our recommendation starting probably around 11:30. We then going to share it with the full council. Council will vote on November 17th and November 24th. We hope to have 7 citizens that we'll appoint to the authority.
Thank you very much for your time.
We're going to come around and give you a hug.
Yes.
Let you enjoy your Saturday.
Thank you.